couple of weeks.
Uh-huh.
Now I'm resuming my Kalingo classes.
Fantastic. You saw how we changed the view, right? The Colingo website has changed, Google Hangouts has changed.
Oh yes, I don't know if they made an agreement or it's just a coincidence.
I think this is a coincidence, but the Colingo website itself has changed also. The design of the website has changed.
Okay,
Yeah. So
only
I think it was
coincidence.
just changed yesterday or something like that, I think.
Yeah, yesterday. Well, I came back to Kalingo
Uh-huh.
yesterday, I think. Yesterday or the day before.
Uh-huh.
But yesterday I could see this is the new web in Google Plus.
Uh-huh. Fantastic. No, that's great. I know we're trying very hard to make sure uh, that we have as good a service as possible to the students. So we're always improving our services.
Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, absolutely. And did you do anything cool today? Anything interesting recently?
Um, well, I would like to ask you. I could hear some teenagers when they say "of course." They say "of course, my horse." But now, is it very tough to say, or it's only nice?
Of course, my horse,
Yes,
like
it's
mi
a
caballo.
teenager language. Yes.
Oh, I've
Yeah.
never heard that before.
Yeah. For example, they say, "Do you know something? You whatever." They say, "Of course, my horse."
You know, I
Yeah.
have never heard that
I,
before. I think maybe it's just for fun because horse rhymes with course.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I was wondering if it's a common way to say in
I have
US.
honestly I have never heard it before, and
Oh, maybe
it's
or
very
maybe not.
surprising. Yeah, I'm very surprised that's the case because usually some of these teenage phrases, maybe I'm too old exactly. Now all the young people are saying this stuff. I have no idea, right? I'm an old man, but no, that's the idea. I
No,
have never
it's
heard
good.
it actually. Oh, of course, I know, Jose, but just thinking about it though, I've never, not even in popular movies or YouTube channels, I can't remember hearing something like that before. But
Okay.
yeah,
So okay, so it's not a big deal.
yeah, it doesn't seem like. I think if you say of course, then everybody will understand. Of course, my horse. People might look at you and say, "What? What's this guy saying?" You know. So yeah, for me it's unusual. Did you hear it on TV? Did you hear it among students here Colingo or on Colingo, or was it just something you found
No,
in the?
no, no. I heard in a TV show, in a local TV show,
Uh-huh.
that they were talking with students that they are used to talk English
Uh-huh.
since they are very young,
Uh-huh.
very little child. They are almost native speakers.
Oh wow, okay.
Yes, because they learn English very hard since they were very little or
Uh-huh.
very little children when they were
Uh-huh.
at school.
Uh-huh.
And don't know if they took this by themselves or they took this from some native speakers. Well,
Uh-huh. That's very interesting, but honestly, I am so surprised that I've never heard that before. It could be something that I think maybe folks who are maybe younger children started speaking this way before I grew up, I guess, or I mean after I grew up, maybe. Now I think maybe maybe it's a new trend, But yeah, I can't say I've heard of it. But if they're saying it and if they're near native speakers, then I would say that's very good indication.
oh yeah,
Yeah. So that's awesome. Uh, good, good,
I
good,
can
good question.
see. Yeah, I can see this is an urban dictionary.
Yeah, it's a good, great website, right?
Yeah, I've just Googled it. This is, of
Uh-huh.
course, my horse. It's the same as I couldn't agree more. No.
Yeah, so if it's on Urban Dictionary, I would say definitely it's a very good source of information.
Ah, okay.
Urban Dictionary has a very, very, very solid system of information. They really know what they're doing.
Oh,
Sometimes phrases that I've never heard, just like this, going to Urban Dictionary, it works. The people who write that stuff, they know what they're doing.
like a Wikipedia.
Yeah, it's like a Wikipedia for all kinds of popular culture, for example. So yeah, awesome. Well, Jose, I think we can get started then. Just going to talk about today. The theme is actually going to be irregular verbs. So when we talk about irregular verbs, the understanding is really that we are going to be looking at verbs that have a different past tense. Usually, the way that we call a verb irregular is if it has a different past tense than the normal past tense, which is something ends in ed, right? I walked to the park. I looked outside. I traveled to, Mexico, whatever, right? When we have a different situation, when it's not that kind of ed ending, then those become irregular verbs, and I'm sure you're familiar with almost all of them. And then the second part of our class is we are going to be looking at an article that focuses on the confiscation of Chinese medications. So at a Swiss airport not long ago, uh, some airport authorities found that there were people who were trying to smuggle medications from China that were fake, and it became a big issue because nobody knows how many of these monitors maybe, or how many of these medications maybe were shipped from different places to China, or from China to other countries, right? I mean, it's very dangerous. These medications, people could be taking these medications as maybe the real thing, believing that they're the real thing, but in reality, it's something fake and something probably very dangerous, right? So before we get started on that, Jose, I wanted to ask you very briefly. Tell me about what you did earlier today. You can use irregular verbs, regular verbs, just to get our mind thinking in the past tense.
Okay, I woke up more or less 7:30, and I stay rolling on the bed till
Uh-huh.
9:30 maybe, because I'm a little bit free.
Jose, we want to say 7:30, 9:30.
Okay, half past
Yeah.
nine,
Uh-huh.
more or
Half
less.
past 7 or 9:30, exactly. Yep, yep. Fantastic. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, 9:30.
Uh-huh.
And then I took breakfast. No, I didn't took breakfast today. And then I was making some research in my computer till 3 p.m. when I um, eat some lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was just fooling around, visit some friends, and was trying to watch a movie to a theater, but then I regret.
You
Um,
regretted watching the movie?
yeah, I tried to go to watch a movie,
Mm-hmm.
but then I thought, well, there's nothing too much convenient in the movie
Mm-hmm.
these days, so I wait for next week, maybe, if there's a better movie. And
Nice.
now I'm here. Oh, I
Fantastic. Sounds
play
like
some
sounds like a
soccer.
great day. Oh, okay. You played some
Yeah,
soccer also?
yeah, I'm just right back.
Awesome, awesome, fantastic. Looks like you had a very active day. You did a lot of different things, and I like how you started your sentence. The very first thing you said was, "I woke up around 7:30. Then I rolled around until 9:30." Right? Happens a lot. I mean, I did the same thing today. I woke up around 7:30 also, but I only rolled around in bed for maybe 20 minutes, and then I was up by 7:50. So I had some work, and now actually, Jose, I think the last time we spoke, I was still working for my company. I've actually changed jobs, so I'm no longer working for that company. I'm working from home. And I'm working for a startup that does similar things to my old company. So it's a different experience. I'm always at home in terms of work, when I go to the gym or when I go outside to, take either take a walk or, go shopping. Those are the only times I leave the house. I don't actually leave the house to go to work anymore.
Oh
So,
yeah, you
yeah.
know, when you work where you're by yourself,
Hmm.
I heard that it's good to if you set up an schedule, if you will start to work maybe at 9, it's better to take a shower and put your suit or some kind of clothes that you would use in an office
Hmm.
and work that way. Not only with
Really?
with your pajama or maybe with a t-shirt. It's better to pretend that you're in an office.
Uh-huh. Because it helps you psychologically, I think, right?
Yes, maybe more or
Yeah.
less.
Honestly,
Yeah.
what happens to me is if I feel like I'm not working, I just take a break, maybe 5 minutes. I listen to some music, or I watch the news, or I just sit on the couch for 5 minutes, and then I come back to work. It works for me. But I have heard, for example, for interviews, people say that even if it's a phone interview, you should always dress up. Act like you are talking to another person.
Oh, really? Yeah, in my
Yeah.
work as well.
And exactly in work as well. So I can see how that can be also applied to the workplace, right? Working from home, really, you should have that same level of professionalism. Hold yourself to a schedule, right? For example, for me, now I teach 2 Colingo classes every morning and 2 in the evening every night, right? So I hold myself to a schedule. My first Colingo class starts at 8 a.m. And so I wake up at 7:30, I take a shower, I do Colingo for 2 hours, and then I start my other job. I work on that maybe 5, 6 hours. Then, in the middle, maybe I grab lunch. Maybe, well, I don't grab lunch. I have to make lunch because I hate going outside to eat. I make my own food. So that usually takes me maybe 1 hour total, making lunch maybe takes me 15 minutes. Eating lunch takes 15 minutes. Making dinner takes 15 minutes. Eating dinner takes 15 minutes. So about 1 hour of my day is preparing food, eating food, cleaning up the kitchen, and those kinds of things. So, um, yeah, but I like that idea. I think a lot of young people now, we are working remotely or we work with technology so we can work from anywhere. And it's good to be professional.
Yeah, yeah, and it's totally different than 10 years ago, maybe, or 5 years ago. It's totally different.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for example, for me, my office is wherever I am.
Absolutely. You can work from anywhere as long as you have internet and a computer, right?
Yeah, and but I heard that Yahoo, I think, don't remember very well, but these new companies, uh, there was a time when they accept that their employees work everywhere as long they fulfill their job,
Hmm. Hmm.
and they were able to work in their homes or in their office. But now they are forbidding that rule. They want the employees come to the office
Yeah.
and to follow a schedule.
Yeah, absolutely. Yahoo did the same. And Yahoo did that, and I think Hotmail or MSN, Microsoft, I think, wants to do something similar. Or some
Really?
other company. Some other company. I remember if you Google it, Jose, you'll find the article, but there's another company that is following the same example as Yahoo. Uh, or they were considering that same rule. You cannot work from home, you have to come to the office. Maybe not Microsoft, because I have friends who work at Microsoft and they don't do anything. They wake up at 1 p.m., they go to sleep at 6 p.m., they drink all night, they sleep around, they smoke marijuana. I mean, they they
Is that
have yeah, they have the
is that a
most
job?
cra I'm sorry?
Is that a job?
That is their job, that seems. I honestly think, I mean, Microsoft, these guys that work for Microsoft, they are relaxing a lot. They're not smoking marijuana. I was just joking, but
Yeah.
they can sleep like very, very until they want, right? Wake up at 12 p.m., design, do a little bit of coding, do some meetings, maybe 1 or 2 meetings, online with their team, maybe put in a couple of hours, of work, maybe just 4 hours of work, and they go back to doing whatever, right? Working remotely, they don't care they don't have a schedule. They have a salary, so as long as they finish their project, and I mean, these guys are geniuses. In those 4 hours, they can do more work than I can do in maybe 9 hours, right? They're very
Wow.
focused. Yeah, they're very focused. They get their job done. They just don't care. Life is short. They work from home. They making very good money and just relaxing.
Ah, well, that's different when there's a genius. When you treat a genius, you don't
Yeah,
expect a genius to work as a regular employee, eight
yeah,
hours doing regular stuff. Now, a genius is to work for an inspiration
absolutely.
as long they accomplish the task.
Yeah, as long as you get the job done, right?
Yeah.
That's the only thing that matters, as long as you get the job done. But no, it's very true. We have that mentality in the U.S. as well with a lot of young people now, and it would have been completely impossible 5 years ago, right? Not even possible. So yeah, that's awesome. Well, seems like Jose, you understand irregular verbs very well. We use many examples in our conversation, but just as a recap, words that we have that are irregular, for example, are the verb to be, right? The verb to be is not, I am is the present, I was is the past, right? He was, she was, we were, they were, right? They look nothing like the word be, even though the verb is be, they look nothing like that. Uh, what a don't you love English sometimes? It's just the most ridiculous language with the most ridiculous spelling.
Oh, well, I love that language.
I mean, in Spanish things make sense, right? We have irregular verbs in Spanish, spelling, okay, but at least it makes some sense, right? But English, oh my God. I mean, sometimes I take a look at the language and I say, thank God I learned this when I was still a baby. If I had to learn it now, I think I would be very, very confused.
Yeah, you can bet it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what about eat, Jose? What's the past tense of eat?
Eat. Ate.
Ate, right? Fantastic. So the spelling is a little bit different. What about the past tense for think?
Thought.
Thought, right? He thought something. What about the past tense for take?
Took.
Took, absolutely, right? And what about for buy?
Bought.
Bought. Teach.
Thought.
Yeah. What about, um, I'm going to think of a difficult one, a little bit more difficult one. Uh, what about, no, actually, I think it's okay. I think those are pretty much the same. I would say, okay, what about get?
Get. Got.
Got, right? What about, for example, write?
Written.
Well, written is the
Wrote.
past participle,
And
right? Yeah,
wrote.
fantastic, fantastic. Written is the past
Oh,
participle. Wrote is the past tense, exactly. So he wrote something, right? And we also have, for example, let's see, we have some weird ones, right? What about forget?
forgot.
Forgot, right? Just like get is got, forget is forgot, right? What about lose?
Lost.
Lost, right? Exactly. I lost something. What about understand?
Understood.
Understood, right? Fantastic. So we have these words that they really have very different kind of spellings, right? The most weird ones I would say are words like like fly. What's the past tense of fly?
Flow.
Flew,
Flew.
flew, right? So it's FLEW, right? The bird flew from this tree to that tree, right? Flew is in the past tense. So that one is really kind of very weird. Just go in general. What is the past tense of go?
Went.
Went, right? Once again, just like be, there's no similarity between go
Yeah.
and went, right? So it's one of those things. But okay, I think you have a really good idea, Jose. I'm not going to spend any more time on this. The one thing I do want to say though is when we are talking about pronunciation of these words, right? we really want to make sure that we are pronouncing the words correctly. And I think you did a great job. So, for example, some of the words have a more O sound, like not, got, right? They have that O sound. Other ones kind of sound like they have an AH inside, bought, right? It's not the rounded O, so your mouth doesn't make a complete O. It just makes maybe a slight ah sound, right? Bought, got, bought, compared to forgot, right? A very slight difference. I mean, I didn't notice any problems with your pronunciation, but we do have that little bit of a change between some words and other words, right? So, any questions on any of that, Jose, so far?
Not really.
Yeah, good. I think you did a great job. I don't think there's any questions. I didn't have any questions for you, so I think that's a good sign. Let us then take a look at this article, Jose. So we have these fake pills, right? These fake medicines that were caught. Get it? I'm using an irregular verb here. That were caught when they were being smuggled between some destination in Switzerland. So they were coming from somewhere. They were passing through Switzerland, and they were stopped, right? And people found out what was actually going on with these pills. So let's take a look here. Fake Xanax. Xanax is a medication that helps people who have anxiety, who are very nervous, naturally very nervous, right? Fake Xanax anxiety pills from China seized in Zurich, right? Experts think it would be hard to spot the drugs are fake at first glance, right? They did a really good job duplicating these medicines, making the fake version, because it really is difficult to tell. Customs agents have seized 1 million fake anti-anxiety pills in transit at Zurich airport, Swiss officials say. The 4-crate shipment was on its way from China to Egypt, the Swiss Agency for Therapeutic Products said. The tablets are counterfeit versions of Xanax, a drug manufactured by Pfizer to treat severe anxiety or panic disorder. Tests showed the drugs contained no active ingredients, but would be very difficult to recognize as fakes. The counterfeit drugs were packed into 4 crates, which weighed over 400 kilograms, said the agency, also known as Swissmedic. Analyses in the Swissmedic laboratory revealed that the drugs, which are prescribed to treat symptoms of acute anxiety, contained no active ingredients whatsoever, Swissmedic said in a statement, adding that they were being destroyed. According to experts, the drugs would be unrecognizable as counterfeits at first glance. Developing countries such as Egypt are considered a major market for the multi-billion-dollar trade in fake drugs. The World Health Organization says many countries in Africa and parts of Asia and Latin America have areas where more than 30% of medicines on sale can be counterfeit. Counterfeit medication ranges from painkillers to treatment for life-threatening conditions, right? So, what do you think about this article, Jose? Does it come as a surprise for you that something like this happened?
Well, this is very common in my country as well, but we produce our own fake pills, so we don't have to smuggle from anywhere.
Wow, that's awesome. There's a degree of pride in that, right?
Yeah, our own industry.
We have our own fake pills industry. We don't need those Chinese medications, right?
Yeah, no. And we produce fake dollars as well.
Wow, really?
Yeah, whatever you want, you may come here.
Oh my God, you sound like one of the other guys. Remember in one of our in many of our classes, we have someone named Juan from Mexico join, and he is always making jokes about what you can do in Mexico if you have money. He says, for example, if you have money here, you can do anything. So I can make you a fake passport, fake money, fake drugs, fake anything. Yeah, I mean it's really funny when he says it, because obviously he's joking, but it's not a joke. He is joking, but the situation is not a joke. right?
Yeah, maybe it's very
Yeah,
suspicious to be a joker always with the same stuff. Why?
yeah,
Don't know.
and
Does he
it's
use
funny.
a picture or a cam?
No, he doesn't use a camera, but I mean, he's joking about it, of course.
Ah, yeah,
He's not really one of those folks, but he says
yeah.
everything is possible in Mexico if you have money, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The same here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you need a pill, maybe 10 years ago, we didn't have franchise and drugstores.
Hmm.
Only if you have enough money to open a drugstore, you were lucky. But now we have some franchises,
Hmm.
and the people try to buy more in those franchises because it's safer. Uh, Sometimes it costs a little bit more, but anyway, you have to pay a little bit more to be safe because
Hmm.
we're talking about medicines. And don't know, sometimes even next to hospitals, we can find these drugstores that are selling fake pills. It's well, we're laughing now, but it's very dramatic if you have
Hmm.
to face this situation.
And I mean, how are there are there efforts by police, law enforcement, citizens themselves to stop this kind of trade? I mean, who's behind it? In this article, they seem to say that at least the Chinese trade seems to be very organized because they're exporting from China to other countries, and there are many kinds of I mean, they have an established business model. Even though it's illegal, I'm sure they have a very they know what they're doing to some extent, right? In Peru, because it's more local, is a situation. Um, I mean, is it easier? I would imagine, just being somebody who has no idea of anything, I would imagine that it would be maybe easier to stop something that's a domestic problem, right? If the police or the law enforcement are targeting these folks, and we know that they are in your country, then maybe it would be easier to stop that kind of activity.
Uh,
Or is it not?
Not really, because there is no one great leader in this activity. There are many people doing that by themselves. So if you attack some region, some area, you can catch maybe some of them, but everybody run away and they establish in another place. It's like a back effect. When
Hmm.
you blow a bag, you have a balloon maybe. You grab a balloon and the air moves from one side to another. It's the same in this situation, in this phenomena,
Wow.
because there are many mini businesses,
Hmm.
many drug dealers. It's like drug dealers,
Hmm.
something like that. Maybe the fake pill, maybe it's not a poison, but it's only maybe flour or maybe some dust that won't damage you, but won't heal you
Hmm.
neither.
Yeah. It seems to me like this is an underground business that is, I mean, that is so, I mean, in this article, they're saying up to maybe a third of all medicines in developing countries, they say Africa, they say Latin America. I have a hard time believing it is up to one third, 33% of all the medicine is fake. Or would you say it's actually accurate?
Don't know. I wouldn't dare to give a number,
Exactly
but
number, yeah, exact number. That's
yeah,
true.
but I think that there is many fake pills uh, in the market. So that's why the franchise were very well accepted in my country, despite they are a little bit higher cost. But
Hmm.
the people accept them because they know that it's safer.
Yeah, no, I have definitely seen a very similar situation. Uh, when my parents and I visit our home country when we go back to Bangladesh, Bangladesh has a very similar situation, right? It's a country that has many problems, least of which, or not the least of which, is very bad access to healthcare. So poor people, especially, I mean, Bangladesh is definitely a developing country. It's definitely one of the, it's getting there. I would say the people have hope, but there are a lot of things that still need to be done. And there are pharmacies that are very genuine. If they are affiliated with the hospital, for example, people pay lots of money to go to private pharmacies or pharmacies that are established names with connections to academic hospitals. Maybe the largest hospitals in the country, their pharmacies are going to be very reliable, very trustworthy places. Also the private pharmacies. So, but if you go to just a normal public pharmacy, the environment is, I can always imagine this kind of environment. You walk into the pharmacy and there are bright lights and there are all these pills behind this guy who's sitting at the counter, right? You don't know what his qualifications are. You don't know if he's a real pharmacist, if he's just a salesman, if he's just a thief. You have no idea. But he's a salesman. I know for a fact he's a salesman, right? Because he is selling these drugs, or non-drugs, whatever, to anybody who comes in the door, right? He will show you fake proof. Oh, look at this. This is definitely coming from India, for example, right? India is close to us, so many people trust Indian medicine. Oh, this is coming from India. This is 100% authentic Indian medicine, right? Faking, fooling everybody. Fooling people who can be fooled. Not fooling everybody, but fooling people who are easy to be fooled, right? And they're making a lot of money, So in Bangladesh, definitely the situation is such that there are too many of these people. I think just like you're saying in Peru, like there are way too many. You stop one, and 10 more will start. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you're trying to stop something that is just growing when you stop one, right? So, and it's easy to do. I mean, people. I don't know what they use to make these medicines, but I've heard horrible things, like people are in the ambulance and they are being taken to the hospital and they die in the ambulance because they refuse to take any medicine until they reach the hospital, right?
Oh,
It's that terrible because people are so afraid of what they will get unless it's from a trustworthy, reliable source, right? And the worst part of all of this is that there doesn't seem to be much government regulation. There doesn't seem to be any, I mean, the government can only control so much, right? The government can only control maybe the major hospitals, the public hospitals, some of the private hospitals, but they can't control the guy on the street who's selling things out of his backpack.
oh, yeah. Well, that's terrible. It looks like you are kidnapped in your entire country.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a very difficult situation, and I mean, I don't know how bad it is. It's been 3, 4.5, maybe 5 years, no, 4 years since I last went back to Bangladesh to visit my family. A lot has happened since that time. I mean, I don't know if things have changed, if things have improved or not, but it's very difficult sometimes when I think about the situation because it's people are people. I mean, I I am a Bangladeshi. Like maybe my English is American, maybe I can act American, but I mean I'm from that country, right? So when I see myself, who am I? Just I'm a clown, right? I'm just a clown. I'm a funny guy. I mean, I don't know if I do anything to deserve what I have, but there are so many people, so many needy people, right? They just want to survive in their situation, right? They just want to have a good life. That's all they're asking. They're not saying give me millions of dollars, whatever. No, they want just good medicine, right? So how many things do I take for granted, or many people take for granted, right? I can go to the pharmacy here, just 2 minutes from my apartment. I can just walk to the pharmacy. And I know for a fact, I'm 100% positive. Anything I buy is going to be the right thing for me, right? Or it's not going to be fake. It's not going to harm me, right? But these people, you see millions and millions of people, high heart attack risk, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, dying every single day because they have no access to good medicine. And it makes me feel terrible, man. I don't know what to say.
Oh, well, uh, don't know if in your country, or in Bangladesh,
Hmm.
the there are many difference between rich people and poor people.
There
As
are,
in your
yeah.
Yes, that's very tough when you can see that there are rich people that can get any kind of service, and in the same area there are very many poor people that have not the same rights, because they don't have enough money to pay for that service,
Hmm.
even though this service should be for free. For example, medicine, you cannot forbid an urgent or an emergency to anybody.
Hmm.
But the fact is that there are some places that if you don't have enough money, you cannot be attended. You will not be, how to say, they won't accept you if you don't have enough money, and you have to look for another hospital, another place.
Hmm.
Doesn't matter if it's an emergency.
Yeah. I mean, it's a daily tragedy, right? I mean, I think the middle class, sure, the middle class can survive. But they're being squeezed, you know. There's a huge no, there are a huge number of poor people. There are a lot of rich people also, but the middle class is always getting squeezed, right? You they're always under pressure. Sometimes they're depending on the economy, depending on inflation, depending on jobs. They have money. Sometimes some years they have money, some years they have zero money, right? And it's very difficult because they are. I mean, when I think of a country, I think of the middle class as the future, right? Um, and these countries, like I don't know, maybe Egypt also. They mentioned Egypt in this article, right? I mean, countries in turmoil, right? I mean, no government security, protests every day, people getting arrested, democracy, no democracy, military dictatorship, no military dictatorship. I mean, we don't know. So at least Bangladesh is stable in the sense that there's no physical war happening in the street. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I mean, we have to be thankful for everything we have, but at the same time, I feel like there's so much more that we take for granted. Just I mean, basic medicine, man. Come on, like how human is the right to have good medicine? And yet even that we cannot deliver to people. Um, what do you think, Jose, should be the punishment for people who are making fake medicines?
I think that they should be treated as same as drug dealers. It's exactly the same. For me, it's the same.
Even if they're not making something that is harming somebody, they should be treated the same.
Of course, because this should be real medicine, and someone is expecting to follow a treatment, and if they don't receive the accurate pill, uh, it's uh, it's how to say they are being harmed.
Yeah, they've been harmed. They've been taken advantage of, right?
Yes,
Someone took advantage of them, right? So even if they weren't harmed, someone took advantage of their need, right? Of them or their need to. Someone took advantage of their maybe helplessness, their need for medicine, right? I mean, and Jose, this is an interesting thing now, right? When I was mentioning Bangladesh a little while ago, some of the problem is actually with the doctors themselves. The doctors who prescribe the medicine, right? They are connected to private pharmacies, for example. This happens a lot in Bangladesh, right? So you go to a doctor, the doctor says, okay, Jose, you have this and this. You need to buy this and this. By the way, here is the card for the pharmacy. You go buy it there. This is a good pharmacy. I trust this pharmacy, right? Now, if you're a middle class person, or if you're not a very rich person, then you go to that pharmacy and they have a contract with the doctor, right? The doctor gave you that pharmacy's business card. So you go to that pharmacy, you ask them for the medicine, and they give you something, right? I don't know if maybe it's the right thing. Maybe it's the right medicine. Maybe it's 100% high quality. But it depends on the doctor, depends on the location, depends on the pharmacy, depends on whoever. I mean, there are so many controlling factors, right? But the common denominator is money, right? The doctor, when they make these contracts, right, these illegal contracts with pharmacies, they get a percentage of the money that the pharmacy makes for referring patients to the pharmacy, right? So the doctor, at the end of the day, I don't think cares that much about is the medicine that I'm giving this person the right medicine, or what is the pharmacy doing with this medicine? No. The doctor only cares if I recommend 5 people a day, then I get a nice check at the end of the week, right? And I think it's up to the doctors also, as because they are the partners in treating people, right, in giving healthcare. I think it's really also their responsibility to see, okay, this is what we should do. We should give pressure to the pharmacies because if the doctors don't prescribe medicines, people won't go to the pharmacy maybe, or not as many people will go, and the pharmacies will lose money, you know? Uh, I mean, what do you think about that, Jose? Is there a relationship like that between the doctors and the pharmacies in Peru, or have you seen something like this before?
Yeah, it was very, or is still a very common, very common activity. But now we have a law that force doctors when they give a prescription, they are forced to put the generic ingredient. How to say? Is it is correct to say the
Yeah, the
ingredient?
generic ingredient, or you can say the active ingredient.
Oh yeah, the active ingredient,
Uh,
so that the patient can has is able to ask for the cheaper pill with the
mhm,
same ingredient. For example, a pill that for the flu, for example, there are some pills that might cost $1 or $2, one
mhm,
pill,
mhm,
and if you ask for the generic, it might cost maybe $1 for 10 pills.
mhm,
So, and in the prescription, the doctor, yeah, he has the chance to put the specific name, the commercial name, but he is forced to put the name of the activity, the generic activity or the generic ingredient.
mhm. So maybe
Yes,
for a medicine that is for the cold, he needs to write, cold medicine and then something like, ibuprofen.
yeah,
Ah, okay, 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 cool. So that's interesting actually. And has that worked, Jose? From your experience, is that working?
yes, of course, it works, and now many people I can see now in the pharmacy or in the drugstore, they ask for some pill, and the clerks are trying to offer always the the high glucose pill, but now the people now has the capability to haggle, and we're very good in that, believe me. Now and now we can take our chances, can take our decisions. But I think that it's only for not very difficult illness. For example, if you have a very hard illness, for example, some kind of cancer maybe, where you are devastated and you don't have the serenity to take decisions. You try to rely 100% on your doctor, and you want they tell you what to do. you don't want to he gives you some chances to take your chance. You just want to he
Gives you
he told you
the
what.
best option, right?
Yes,
Uh-huh.
please doctor, tell me what to do, what not to do.
Hmm.
Well, you can make this way. You have two options. No, I don't want an option.
The
I
best
just
one.
want to hear you. Yes,
Yeah.
you have studied 10, 15 years. I only have, I only know how to write cancer. No, so please don't tell me that I will take the chance, or, or I will take the choose.
Yeah. That's interesting, and it's something that I think is I like that idea of empowering the patient. I really like that idea because when you empower the patient, when you give the patient information, right, you are making them a part of that process, right? Because I really dislike, personally, I don't like doctors. I find many doctors to be, I mean, I worked with doctors for 2 years before, like in my last job, I worked with a lot of doctors, and many of them don't really have their heart in the right place, I think. I found some very good doctors, but I also found a lot of very, 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 um, not very unkind people who somehow became doctors. I don't know. They're not very good with people. They may be fantastic in their work. They may be very good with the science and the math and the disease and all that stuff, but they are not as human as they could be. They're more like robots sometimes for me. So I think I really like that idea that now the patient has the ability to haggle and understand what it is that they are being given, right? They have the right to ask the doctor. With this law, now they have the right. They can ask the doctor, okay, this is a medicine you want, this is a generic. Will any active ingredient, will this active ingredient work for me? The doctor has to say, yeah, okay, this one will work. It doesn't matter if you're buying the $9 version or the $1 version. This one will work, right? It gives patients that ability, and I think that's very important. Um, Many times I see the communication between the doctor and the patient to be very one-sided, right? The doctor says something, the patient listens. Yes, doctor, of course I trust you, of course, of course. And they don't argue with the doctor. And that's dangerous because the doctor is responsible to answer questions and give the correct information. We shouldn't blindly trust doctors, right? And that happens a lot, and I think in these other countries, like in Bangladesh, you don't question the doctor. The doctor says you will go to this pharmacy, you buy this medicine, it will help you. You go and you buy it from that pharmacy. You have no idea if the pharmacy is a good pharmacy, if the doctor has that contract, has a financial contract with the pharmacy, if the medicine is going to help you or not. You have no idea, you know. And even the doctors are in teams with each other, right? So maybe in a clinic or in a hospital, 3 or 4 of the doctors are in the same group. They each send patients to the same pharmacy, right? And that same pharmacy sends them a really nice check at the end of the month or at the end of the week, right? Thank you for recommending all of these patients to us, right? I mean, it's a business, you know?
Yeah, and we are a business for them. They trade us just some numbers,
Yeah, we're
one
dollar
way to.
signs, right? We're dollar signs for them.
Yeah, and I heard that there's some private hospitals or clinics.
Hmm.
In English, is this that word?
Yeah,
Clinic?
clinics. Yeah, clinics. Yeah.
Ah, yeah, yeah. It's more often in clinics when if you have some kind of insurance or security, medical security. Well, what it means that someone else will pay the cost for what they.
Uh-huh. If you have a guarantor, a guarantor. A guarantor is somebody who, if you cannot pay, then they will pay for you.
No, no, I mean
Oh.
social security, social
Oh, Social
security.
Security, social services, maybe, social services.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. When you pay every month, one don't know how much, and the government take care of you,
Yeah,
of
Social
your.
Security, Social Security, yeah, we say that in
Yeah.
the US, or maybe also health insurance, right?
Oh yeah, health
Health
insurance,
insurance.
for example.
Health insurance, uh-huh.
Yes, and you go for something, maybe you say, doctor, I have a little pain here, and maybe it's just a little pain, it's nothing important, but they give you surgery. They take your uh, how, um, how to say your let me take a look.
Sure.
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Your kidney. They
Uh-huh.
take your kidney, or they make you a surgery for anything when
Uh-huh.
you don't need it, just to collect the money of the Social Security.
Wow.
It's yes, it's we had some cases. Don't know if in my country or something nearby,
Mhm.
some country nearby, or in somewhere. But I hear many stories about this.
Well, organ donation is a very, 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 or I guess organ trafficking in this case,
Oh yeah, that's
you
different.
can make a lot of money in that.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's very different.
Yeah.
And there are people that they are selling their organs by their own will to pay some bills. They have many dues to
Oh,
pay,
wow.
and they sell their kidneys. For example, is the most common to sell their kidneys. $7,000, $5,000. Someone else is earning $50,000. The middleman is earning much more money, and they can pay their bill, they can pay their dues for a while, and then 6 months later they're ruined, they're they're poor again, and they don't have more kidneys to sell.
Oh, wow. That's a tragedy. That's another level of tragedy. I mean, we've been talking about all these other kinds of tragedies, but when you are literally selling your body
Yes.
for your financial security or financial, um, I guess, solvency, that is terrible. And are these doctors that are doing these surgeries, I mean, how is it possible that they can do this without getting arrested? I mean, to take a kidney out of a person, it needs to be a very serious thing, right? You just can't say, "Doctor, my head hurts." Okay, it must be your kidney.
Yeah.
You know
Something
what I
like
mean? I mean, these doctors have to have some kind of backbone, right? I mean, are they just lying through their teeth then when they are deceiving these people? Or, I mean, you know what I mean?
yeah, when you go for some troubles and they tell you no, this is not, this is another thing. When you go, it's maybe like when you take your car to the mechanics, and they try to sell you another car, or try to fix everything in your car when it's only one screw that is loose.
It's so true. It's so
Yeah.
true, Here, in the US there was a question once that was almost like a survey that was given to people. Who do you which person or which profession in your daily life would you really want that profession? Like if you could choose one or two people in your life to be very trustworthy in terms of professional people that you meet or talk to, who would they be? And the number one answer was mechanic. Because we are so used to thinking of mechanics as people that are deceiving us, right?
Mhm.
They're fooling us, they're deceiving us. So I mean, the most popular response was, please, I wish in my life that I have a trustworthy mechanic.
Yeah.
And I think number two was maybe dentist or something like that. It wasn't doctor, it was mechanic, and then or mechanic, accountant, and dentist were the top three. Yeah,
Oh my
people
God.
really wanted a good, honest accountant also, a good banker.
Yeah, I hate dentists. I think
You hate
everybody hates
dentists?
it.
How come? How come?
Why?
Yeah.
Have you never met a dentist?
Why don't you like dentists?
No, there's too much pain when I go to them with their. There's a tool that they use all the time, make a noise.
A drill.
Yeah, that real. Yeah, that.
Yeah,
Oh
that
yeah,
thing,
that's
right?
very scary, like a scary movie.
Yeah, they do. They are. It's funny, but people in the United States, we make fun of dentists that they are. Well, we make fun of them for many reasons because we say that many people are scared of them, just like you're saying. But dentists also, unfortunately, have the highest rate of suicide among all professions
Really?
in the U.S. In the U.S., yeah. They
Oh,
have relative to their number the number of dentists in the US, the percentage of their suicides among the dentist population is one of the highest, if not the highest, it's one of the highest.
oh
Um,
my God.
yeah, and people say that they are probably the most unhappy professionals. Dentists in this country are millionaires. Okay, they make a lot of money. If you graduate from dental school and if you can start your own business, your own clinic, man, the sky is the limit, right? We make fun of people that go into medicine because we say if you want to go into medicine for the money, then you're an idiot. You should have gone to dentistry, right? If you want to go into medicine for helping people, okay, you have another reason. But if your focus is money, you should do dentistry, right? It's almost a joke. People my age, college people, I have friends that are in dental school right now. If they leave, when they leave, if they graduate, when they graduate, from the dental school, they will make so much money, almost guaranteed $150,000, $200,000 a year from the beginning.
Oh my God.
Absolutely, $150,000 to $200,000 a year, easily, easily,
Doesn't matter the
easily.
school?
Doesn't matter the school, as long as it's a U.S. dental school. Absolutely.
Maybe a distance school, some kind of that?
No, it would have to be maybe on. You have to be on campus 4 years, taking the education, doing the labs, all the classes, right? I mean, sure. I'm not saying they're not smart people. They are. They have to learn a lot. They learn about
Yeah.
anatomy, physiology, dental, a lot of different sciences, chemistry, and then of course specific things about dentistry. And dental surgeons, you know, fa- uh, facial-maxillary surgeons, right? They help reconstruct your jaw, your this entire area. They are very skilled people. They're very smart people. But compared to doctors, they don't study as many years as doctors. They don't have as much training as doctors, right? Just the normal dentists. If you become a dental surgeon, oh yeah, maybe 15 years, 20 years of school. But the normal dentist, the person you go for your braces, for cavities and for other things. Here in the U.S., we say there are two degrees, DMD and DDS, right? DDS is Doctorate of Dental Surgery. Those guys are much more, they do much more schooling, right? DMD is just Doctorate of Dental Medicine or Medicine and Dentistry, something like that. So DMD is of course a doctor who graduated from dental school, but has not learned as much as a DDS who is surgery, also knows a lot about surgery. And they make more money also. But yeah, DMDs, they are making a lot of money, $150,000, $200,000 easily. If they have their own practice, then I mean, $500,000 a year easily if they have their own practice. Um, but they are very unhappy. They are always at the top of the surveys for suicides and for unhappiness in their jobs.
Yeah, I never could imagine that.
Yeah, no, they are. It's funny. And surgeons, general
No, I mean the
surgeons.
money.
Oh, the money. Oh, okay. Oh, man. Man, you gotta be
Oh
kidding
no
me,
no
Jose.
yeah the
The money is incredible if you're a dentist. Incredible. You know, in the United States, they are making unbelievable amount of money. Australia, they're making an unbelievable amount of money. The
oh in
rest of the
Australia as
world,
well.
yeah, but the rest of the world, not so much.
Oh, so in US and in Australia. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I know what to study in Australia. once once I've been there.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
I think
well,
so.
well, it's a little sad to hear that about dentists. They have a high rate of suicide,
Uh-huh.
and don't know. I never heard that.
Yeah.
I thought that.
Maybe it's just a US thing, honestly. It might be something in the US that they are just very unhappy with their professions. If you ask I mean, they did these surveys and they had the lowest rate of happiness and the highest rate of suicide.
Yeah, but I heard, for example, the anest. Uh, let me take a look at.
Anesthesiologist.
Yeah, anesthesiologist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or anesthesia.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, don't know. Is regulated the use of this anesthesia or
Anesthetist or anesthesiologist, yeah.
anes and the anesthesia? The
Anesthesia is what they give to the patient, yeah.
Yeah, but is it regulated?
Oh,
Because
of course,
when
yeah.
I don't know, but, well, for example, what I mean is, for example, when I go to the dentist, I
Uh-huh.
always ask him for the anesthesia. Doesn't matter what he is gonna do.
Uh-huh.
Doesn't matter if it's only a simple thing or if he is gonna take a look. Doesn't matter. I always ask for the anesthesia.
Uh-huh.
Don't know, and he accept. Doesn't matter. Don't know if it's regulated in US.
Oh yeah, yeah. You can ask the dentist if you want anesthesia. Um, normally when I never ask for it. If they say you don't need it, I say okay, I don't need it.
No, yeah. Sometimes they say me the same.
Uh-huh.
And I insisted. So now, now they give up. They always give me the anesthesia.
Sure, sure. Yeah, but it is definitely regulated. They do uh, private practices, dentists who are in their own clinics and their own practices. Yeah, they try to be very fair to the patient. If the patient requests something, then they'll do it. Yeah. But for example, like if you're just getting your teeth cleaned, I don't think you will get anesthesia unless you request it. If you're getting like a root canal is very serious, then they will of course give you anesthesia without even you asking. They will put enough Novocaine in your mouth to make this entire side numb. You
Oh, no,
can't eat anything.
yeah, I was exaggerating. Of course, it's only for cleaning, doesn't matter. But if I know that he will use the drill, yes,
Oh yeah,
I
of course.
definitely. Yeah, sometimes they tell me no, it doesn't matter. No, it's not necessarily anesthesia because it's only in the surface. But I don't care. I want my anesthesia.
Nice, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I heard that scientists were working on some kind of procedure to avoid the pain in this kind of procedures. Don't know. Surely there will come the time that we won't need the anesthesia any longer.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, there are always so many advancements in science, and they're trying very hard to, I guess, limit the amount of pain. And it's two things for scientists, right? So, having worked with doctors for the past 2 years and seeing what they do, they want to maximize the amount of patients they can see, right? And if they can minimize the amount of time, then they're maximizing the number of patients. So now they have all this extra stuff. Oh, Jose wants anesthesia. I gotta pull out the anesthesia. I gotta give it to him. I gotta wait. I gotta do all of this. No, he's losing money, right? Jose wants anesthesia. He's losing money. So I mean, there's a push now everywhere. Everywhere there's a push to increase the efficiency of medical care. And sometimes they say the efficiency is helping the patient, but sometimes the efficiency is helping the patient, but every time the efficiency is helping the doctor, right? Either the doctor is making more money, a doctor has more free time, or the doctor has, you know, better chances of whatever, it's healthcare in the United States, I can speak for. is just a game of money. Just a game of money. Of course, they are providing a good service because they have to provide a good service, otherwise they won't have customers. And people will start a revolution if the doctors are bad or if the healthcare is below quality or is low quality. But it's all a business, you know. What you were saying a little while ago about the doctors prescribing, the doctors doing unnecessary surgeries, unnecessary procedures, it's a big, big, big problem here. You know, over prescribing, over diagnosing, right? You might have a condition. Let's do a test. The test costs $10,000,
Oh my God.
right? If your insurance, so here everything runs on health insurance. If your health insurance doesn't cover that $10,000, then you have to say I can't do it, right? But then you will leave thinking, oh man, what if I did have something? The doctor wanted me to do the test, I can't afford it, right? Medical bills have destroyed families in this country. Absolutely destroyed families in this country. People have not sold their kidneys or their lungs or things like that, as far as I know, but they have sold their homes, they have sold their cars, they have sold their entire savings have gone to healthcare, right? And they are, you know, extremely poor and they don't know what to do. They don't have a good home. They don't have a good job because they had to spend all their money. They had to spend all their money for healthcare, for surgery, and they had to spend all their time taking care of their family, right? So how can you go to work if you are always at home, right? So many families, especially the mothers, they stopped working maybe to take care of the father. Now neither of them have a job, neither of them are rich, neither of them can do anything, right? It's a very sad situation, and that's why there was this political movement by Obama to introduce the Affordable Care Act, what the media is calling Obamacare, right? And it's a system in which people can choose health insurance. It's not something that normally you get health insurance from your job. Your job gives you health insurance. Some jobs have health insurance, some jobs don't, right? But if you don't have a job that gives you health insurance, then you have to pay everything yourself, right? And it's impossible. If just one test is $10,000, half an hour test is $10,000. How can you spend that much money? It's impossible. So that's why Obama said, you know, Affordable Care Act. We will have other options for people who don't have the good health insurance options, right? Lots of politics, man. Lots of politics. Lots of business. Doctors are extremely I mean, they are extremely talented people. They know that they have to be good at their job. They have to be good doctors. But I don't know what the motivation is. I don't think the motivation is helping the patient anymore. Maybe that's 40% of the motivation. For the best doctors, I would say maybe 60 to 75% of the motivation is for the patient. But there's a large majority of the doctors who I think their focus is just the money, just the business. You know,
Oh
I
yeah.
mean,
Well, I didn't realize it was very very expensive. The medical issue, the
you,
medical
the medical
cost.
cost, yeah, the
Yeah,
cost,
it's
right?
very.
You know, Jose, I'll give you one last example. I know I'm talking a lot, but one time this guy, he was injured in his job, right? And his job told him, this is a very famous movie. It's a very controversial movie, but a movie that came out about this is called Sicko, right? Sicko, very controversial. I don't like everything about the movie, but some of the parts are actually kind of interesting. They were saying that the man, unfortunately, in an accident, he lost his thumb and he lost his index finger, right? He lost both of his fingers, both of those two fingers, in the accident, right? So when he went to the doctors told him he didn't have health insurance, okay? He had no health insurance. So the doctors told him, this finger costs $17,000. This one costs $25,000. Which one do you want to replace? And you need your thumb more, right? In daily life, this finger is more important than this finger. But this one was cheaper. So he chose this one, right? So he doesn't have a thumb. He He actually had to choose out of the two fingers. Combined cost was $42,000, which is impossible for the average American. $42,000 is an impossible amount of money. But $17,000 this finger, okay, I'll go with that finger. One finger is better than no fingers.
Oh, very very controversial.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
it
Sicko is
is
extremely controversial, but they showed some of these stories, some real life stories about people, which when I saw these stories, I thought to myself, oh my God, how is
oh
this possible?
this based on real life.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Oh.
yeah. The guy who made this movie, Michael Moore, he's a very controversial figure, okay? I don't agree with all of his policies. I don't like him as a director, as a movie maker. I think he has an agenda also, right? But he showed people's lives, right? I like to understand people on a very personal level. I mean, when this man is telling you that he had to choose between two fingers, that touches people's humanity at that point, right? I mean, imagine if something like that, God forbid, if something that tragic happened to you, you know? I mean, what would you do if you have to choose which finger you want? You know, I mean, and he was a working man, middle-aged, maybe 45, 50 years old. He wasn't old. He couldn't just say, I don't need any of them, don't worry. No, he had to work, so he needed his fingers, right? And he got this injury at his work. He wasn't, outside, cutting up trees and cut his finger that way. No, it was a workplace accident, right? So, I mean, it's tragic, I hate to say that there are so many problems. We are making progress, I think, in some countries, in some societies, but there are still a lot of things that we need to do. I mean, if you want that a little bit of that understanding, you can watch Sicko to just see some of those other real life examples, right? I think the movie starts with a family, with a couple. So the mother and the father are in their 60s, 65 years old, 67 years old. They sold all of their belongings, their house, their car, everything, because they needed to pay for their health care, and they're living in the homes of their sons, right? So the son has a house, the mother and the father live with the son, and it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for the parents because they are living with their son. So it's a very difficult situation for some of them,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah, because very very expensive the medical cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you said, you can be ruined if you have to face this situation. Fortunately, my country is not very expensive. But the people is not very wealthy as in your country, so we have a balance here.
But even
Uh,
here, man, even here, it's people are
yeah,
not that wealthy, and the cost is so high. You
for
know.
example, an
Yeah.
endodoncy, how much might cost an endodoncy in your country?
Uh, and endo, what's it called, Jose?
Let me take a look. Or endodontics.
Orthodontics?
Yeah.
Oh, endodontics. I have never heard of that before, honestly, Jose. I
Well,
know I know orthodontics, or I'm sorry, orthodontics is when you have like in your mouth, like
okay.
like braces, if you are putting braces or fixing your teeth, that's called orthodontics.
No, endodontics when before they or instead of remove your teeth, they take off the nerve with some needles, and
Uh-huh.
then that way they kill the nerve or take or remove the nerve from
Mm-hmm.
your teeth, and that way you won't feel any pain no more.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I heard that that procedure might cost 1,000 and a half, or
Really? Okay, I
yeah,
have no idea.
yeah, that might cost maybe $80 in my country.
Uh-huh.
And many people are doing that kind of tourism in my country for medical purposes. For example, for dentists, our dentists, many people come to my country to visit our dentist because it's much more. much more cheaper.
Mhm.
Only with what tooth you can pay your ticket.
Mhm.
One way. Oh no, how to say when you coming back,
Round
going
trip.
back,
Round trip.
round trip. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
you can
Round trip ticket. Yeah.
with two tickets you can take a tour. No,
Go to Cusco,
with
see
two
Machu
teeth.
Picchu.
Yeah, with two teeth, you can
Uh-huh.
take a tour maybe,
Yeah.
and many people. And I would like to say, I heard a new. Don't know if it was in U.S. or in Russia.
Mhm.
There was a guy who was in jail, and well, he got his parole or he fulfilled his pain. Well, he was free anyway,
Mhm.
and he needed medical assistance for his kidney.
Mhm.
He had some trouble, but he couldn't pay the treatment, so he tried to go back to jail to receive medical assistance.
Oh
So what
wow.
he did was to rob a bank. He gave the clerk one note which said, "This is an assault. Give me $1." And he sat down to wait for the police to come.
Oh no way. Just so you could go back to jail to get treatment.
Yes, because if he didn't, he was going to die anyway.
Uh-huh.
Yes, was. And I heard about another guy. This was in Russia, I think. Someone who was in jail for 20 years.
Uh-huh.
After these 20 years, he got his parole, but he found out that the world has changed. Um, for example, he couldn't use a computer,
Wow.
and yeah, he couldn't do anything in the real life in nowadays. So he tried to go back to jail again. So it's very,
It's a very strange situation, right?
yes, it's
He
not
hates the modern
bizarre.
world. He hates the modern world so much he wants to go back to jail.
Yeah, it's a little bizarre.
Yeah, it's very, I think, yeah, exactly. It's a bizarre situation. But you know, it's I don't know, man. Sometimes I think about a lot of this stuff. Sometimes I think too much. You know, so when I have these conversations with you guys and people from all over the world, I get the idea that, you know, there's so much more that we have in common than we have differences, you know, like there I mean, I don't know, like honestly, a lot of these problems are affecting many people. Like when we talk about healthcare, like all the different stuff we said today about different kinds of access to care, inequality of care, like all the in my last class, there were three Brazilian guys in the class, right? And they were all saying the same stuff, like Brazil is such a healthcare is so difficult in Brazil, and access to quality healthcare is so difficult. Politicians are corrupt, nothing happens, people are always upset with their current situation. And you know, I don't know. I mean, like with this fake medicine and with the medical care, it's very frustrating. Like, I mean, even in the United States, it's something that we haven't been able to figure out. I think the best countries for healthcare are maybe Canada and the United Kingdom and European countries, but also they have really high tax rates. You know, um, they 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 charge their people a lot of tax money or a lot of taxes, and that's how why they have such a good system. But maybe that is a good system to have a national healthcare system. I don't know. We're trying something like that in the U.S. At least Obama is trying to make it more affordable, but he doesn't have the problem. There are many problems with that approach also. So I don't know, Jose, honestly, what's going to happen.
Well, I think that the good news is that we are self-sufficient by producing our fake pills. We have a successful industry.
Yeah, in Peru at least. You know, I think in the United States, I'm also positive that there are people that are on a much smaller scale, they're doing this kind of illegal trafficking. Maybe the United States, they are sending they are bringing some of the fake medications from Mexico, other countries, and maybe packaging them in American, packaging and then sending them to other countries also. So it would not surprise me at all if they found a large box of fake pills in, let's say, some state near the border, near the Canadian border, near the Mexican border, in large cities, because crime and if there's money to be made, people will come. Doesn't matter what the business is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
It can be the most illegal, the most immoral, the most dirty and dishonest business, but if money has to be made, then people will show up.
Yeah, because the business will be always in there. It's
Hmm.
waiting for someone to take care of that kind of business.
Yeah. Sad, man. Sad, but anyway, Jose, I know it's late in Lima, I'm sure now, and I'm sure you have a big day ahead tomorrow, getting up at 7:30 and then rolling around until 9:30.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
that's the tougher part.
that's the plan, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, Jose, it was a pleasure to speak with you. Did you have anything else that you like to ask or wanted to talk about?
Uh, oh yes, there's a question I always try to ask, but I always forget.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal, but I always watch when or American people when you talk by phone,
Uh-huh.
you never say goodbye. You just hang
Hang
the
up?
conversation. No,
Uh-huh. Do we
just
just hang
hang
up?
the phone. No, hang the phone or cut
Uh,
the conversation.
yeah,
And
we
how do you know when the other people is still talking or he wants to say goodbye? We say goodbye all the time.
yeah.
We try to be sure that the conversation is over.
Hmm.
How can
How,
you
how do we
know?
do that? I think it
Yeah.
depends. I think it depends, honestly. Like, if I'm having a conversation with somebody on the phone, usually we don't. I mean, it's very common to say goodbye, actually. People say, for example, if I'm talking to like a good friend who lives here, maybe we can say, hey, like at the end of the conversation, okay, man, sounds good. Well, then I'll see you at 7 o'clock. All right, sounds good. Take care. Bye bye. Right? Very quickly, you can say take care, goodbye, take care, bye bye. Some people say see you later, and then they just hang up after they say see you later, right?
Oh, really?
So there are all these other kinds of goodbyes as well. But for example, if I'm speaking to my parents, oh, I don't speak to them in English, but if I speak with somebody in maybe, it's very common to say take care, see you soon, have a good one, have a good one, right? This is a very common way of saying goodbye. Have a good one. Talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye bye. You can say the bye bye very quickly. You can just say the bye or the bye bye or the goodbye, right? Doesn't really matter, but some people just end with have a good one. And that can mean instead of saying have a good night, have a good morning, or have a good day, we just say have a good one, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
but
so it's almost like it's a general statement for any time of the day. Have a good one.
have a
I'll
good.
talk to you soon, Jose. Have a good one. Okay, see you later, Farhan. Bye bye.
But I
Right?
don't see that on movies or maybe
Maybe it's not used so much in the
on
movies, but it's
on
definitely a
in
big part of daily
television.
conversation. Or
For
television
example,
as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
they will say, for example, okay, I'm on my way, and they just hang up and then say, well,
Yeah, yeah.
that's a little tough.
Yeah, no, they do. That does happen. That does also happen, right? If you're, for example, it depends on really on the situation, right? Like if I'm in the car, somebody calls me in the car. Listen, man, I'm on my way. I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye. Right? I generally say bye. I say some kind of goodbye, right? I either say bye or talk to you soon or see you later or okay, have a good one, take care. And then I
Okay.
stop the conversation, right? Have a good one is like you're saying adios, you're saying que tenga buen día, que tenga buena noche, and then you can either say, cuídate, take care, and then that's it. You just end the conversation, right? Um, but I think it's definitely, yeah, have a good one is very common. Take care. Uh, I don't think people take the time in normal conversation, especially if they're in a hurry, if they're in the car, if they're on their way. They wouldn't say, okay, talk to you soon, goodbye. And the other person doesn't also say, oh, goodbye. Like that mutual goodbye is rare.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah. Maybe one person says bye and then the other person just hangs up, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
It's a little bit more common in that sense.
yeah, that's what I see all the time, maybe.
Yeah.
But
But
I
it's
never
it,
see that you both say goodbye.
it's rare. It honestly is rare. I think the situation in the common conversation is getting to that level where, we are a text messaging generation now, and
Oh,
everybody
yeah.
is, I mean, see you later. Okay, happy face, goodbye. You know, like it's that generation now. So yeah, definitely not like 20, 25 years ago when things were much more conversationally polite, like, okay, nice to see you as well. Okay, well, have a good night. You too. Take care. Goodbye. Goodbye.
I don't
Doesn't
know.
doesn't
That's
happen. Doesn't happen, right? Nowadays it's okay, man, I gotta go. Talk to you soon. Bye.
yeah. But the
You
other
know?
guy must say bye or must say bye.
Not necessarily
Not
not
necessarily.
necessarily. First, yeah, if I say bye, my friend just maybe will hang up, right? If he says, okay, talk to you soon, I can say, okay, sounds good, bye. That's it. As soon as I say bye, I don't even wait for the response. I hang up,
Okay. But what if the
right?
other guy wants
I
to
do
talk
that a lot.
a little more?
What's he gonna say? He's just gonna say goodbye, right? I mean, it's
Okay.
okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I guess that's the idea. I guess that's the idea. Like, if I'm that far ahead already, and I'm saying, he says, sounds good, I say, yeah, sounds good, man. See you later. Bye. Done. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what's
I
funny. As many times, honestly, me personally speaking, I don't wait for the other person, right? Unless they say, for example, as I'm about to say, all right, sounds good, take care. Wait. Okay, what do you want? Then I'll
so
stop. But as I'm saying take care, my finger is already approaching the end button,
okay.
you
Well,
know?
if you had the chance to talk with someone from South America, you have to wait for the other to say goodbye as well. Did any of
Really. You
your
know,
friends told you that?
no, my friend from Peru, he always, I mean, I was visiting just 2 weeks ago, and this guy is very Americanized. I mean, maybe he doesn't tell me some of this stuff because I'm not South American, but yeah, I have I mean, same way I talk to him, I talk to everybody else. I call him, Hola Rodrigo, ¿cómo estás, general? Oh, estoy bien, general. We call each other general because we're stupid.
Okay.
You know, we have a long story from a long time ago when we were in college, first year of college, 5 years ago. We called each other general. We just that's what we did. We're stupid. But then he would say, yeah, all those we talk half in Spanish, half in English. When it's time to go, all right, man, hasta luego. All right, goodbye, bye. I mean, honestly, Jose, it's a difficult question, but it depends on the situation. If I'm talking to some friends, I don't care. Sometimes I just hang up.
Okay, but
Yeah.
no, it's not usual for me. I think it's a little weird if I say goodbye and hang up immediately.
I
Uh,
think it is. I think in other
yes,
cultures, absolutely. In Indian culture, absolutely, it's very disrespectful.
yes, that's the idea.
Yeah. It's almost like you had all this time to speak to me, and then the last part, you're in such a hurry, you couldn't even say goodbye. What is that? That's very rude.
Yeah, or maybe is he upset with me? Did I say something?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. See, we don't care, man. That's thinking too hard. We're thinking way too hard, right?
Uh,
Some cultures, like por ejemplo, cuando hablamos en persa, okay, Persian is an extremely flowery language. Okay, I have some friends of mine who speak Persian, so I speak to them in Persian, and they have almost a song, like a rhythm. Like when you're about to say goodbye to somebody, you ask them specific phrases. Are you sure you don't have anything you want to ask me? No, no, I'm okay. I'm okay. I have nothing to ask you. Okay, well then I'm about to say goodbye. Oh, okay, absolutely. Have a great day. Thank you so much for calling. And their phrases in Persa, the phrases are so funny, right? So, for example, the people tell each other on the phone. They say, "May I be sacrificed for you," right?
really?
Yeah, because they are so polite, but almost in a very cheesy and very funny way. Like if you tell somebody, like por ejemplo, when we're saying in Persian, like thank you so much. If you say to somebody thank you, they say make another request for me.
Oh my, that's too
They don't
much.
say de nada. They don't say de nada. No, make another request for me so that I can serve you again.
Oh my God.
Right? It's I love that language because it's so poetic. Every part of the conversation is poetic. So even when they are saying goodbye, it's a back and forth. Are you sure? Yes, I'm absolutely sure. Do you have any work to do with me? No, no, thank you so much for your time. May I be sacrificed for you? No, may I be sacrificed for you?
Oh my God.
Back and forth,
I,
right? And it's even funnier if you're at the door. Let's say you're standing at the door of somebody, and the other person says, "After you." No, no, no. After you. Please, please. You go first. No, no. You first. Then the other guy says, "I am your slave. Go first, please. I am your
okay.
slave." Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and I thought
swear, man.
that American were unpolite.
I
I think
know.
I think I'm impolite compared with them.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, when you see the people from Iran when they speak, it's extremely funny. Sometimes, I mean, they are 100% serious. Like, please, after you, I am your slave. No, 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 I am your slave's slave.
Oh my, they're very
Yeah,
polite,
yeah.
and why they want to destroy half the country, half the world? Don't know.
I don't know. That's what destroys my mentality because when I see the people of Iran, like for example, I have many friends from Iran. Many Americans also here who are from Iran, they were born there, they live here. Many of my friends, they are the most kind people I've met in my entire life. More kind than even Indian people, and I'm Indian. It's the people are amazing. The government is ridiculous. So I mean, the government is all about war and religion and politics and all that garbage. But the people are absolutely amazing. I mean,
Uh,
I have never met a single Iranian person who, when they see me speak Persian, I'm not from Iran, they are they're shocked. Like they don't understand. Like, how did you learn our language? How did you speak it? I said, oh, I learned it in university. I really liked your culture. When I was in Iran, okay, I'll give you an example. I visited 1 year and 1 month ago. I was visiting Iran, and I was in the airport, right? So this guy saw me, a young child, maybe like 10 years old, saw me, and he just said hello, good to see you, sir. I said, oh, good to see you as well. He stopped. He didn't think I could respond. He thought I was a foreigner, whatever, right? Then he started to speak to me. He said, "Sir, I can't believe you are speaking to me in my language." I said, "It's not that difficult. Indian languages is not very different from Persa. We can understand some of your languages." And his father came next to him. His father was wondering, what is my son doing talking to this foreigner, right? So his father came to him and next to him and started talking to me. His father said, if you need anything, just call me. And here's my number. Our house is this address. I expect to see you at my house before you leave, right?
really?
Yeah, he gave me everything, all the information. The son kept saying, I cannot believe how happy we are. We are so happy an American has come to Iran. I mean, it was unbelievable for them, right? Can you please stop by our house? We want to have lunch with you, dinner with you. We want to show you our city, you know, whatever you like, please come to our house. I wasn't able to go, but the hospitality was absolutely amazing. Even the police are nice, man. The police were coming to me and like I had a question about my visa and they told me, you know, at the beginning they were kind of very strict because they saw that I was American, and they don't like America. At least the government doesn't like America. So the police were giving me some trouble. I told them, you know, I mean, what do you want with me? I'm not coming here illegally. I have all my papers. And they said, yeah, we understand, but we're just shocked that you can speak our language. So I mean, but they were very, very, very kind. Nobody there insulted me or looked at me differently or treated me poorly. And their culture, I think, is the absolute highest level of respect for guests. You know, everywhere I went, I was the king. I mean, and even with among their people, they are very respectful to each other. So, you know, like sometimes it gets to be excessive. Sometimes it's very, very excessive. Like if you're standing at the door for 5 minutes because one guy is saying, "I'm your slave's son," you know,
Okay.
that's a little excessive, right? After a while, they stop, but they come up with the most creative things, right? So, for example, if somebody invites you to their house, then you say, the phrase is, "May your eyes and may your feet walk on my eyes." Essentially, may you walk on my face. Like, may I become completely your servant when you are in my home. Like, I give you my home, my life, everything. Like, I am at your complete service, right? That's how they talk. And, I mean, if you're a foreigner like me, you know, I will, like, for example, if somebody is giving you food, you're at the house of someone from Iran, they're giving you food, you're not supposed to say, "I want the food." You're supposed to say, "No, no, no, please, I've had enough, please." Then they'll ask you again, "No, no, you want more, please take it." You say, "No, no, no, I don't want it, please, please." Then when they ask the third time, you say, "Okay, sure, I'll have some food."
Okay, but and don't know what you're telling me. Well, I'm very surprised because I don't mean the movies. I mean the news. In the
Uh-huh.
news, it looks like it's very different what you're talking about.
Yeah, man, that's what makes me sad, you know, because I see the news and everything is about war and everything is about violence and Iran. The government, I don't care about at all. The government does not represent the people, in my personal opinion.
Uh,
The
so
people are completely different, 100%.
so like looks like it's fault just for of a few that make
Yeah,
a
it's a
bad fame.
yeah, they are giving the country a very bad image, right? I mean, and they love Latin Americans. They love Latin Americans. They love
Really?
people from Brazil, from Argentina, Colombia. Venezuela has extremely good relations with Iran because of their similar political philosophy, both anti-American. But they are very, very, very open to learning about other cultures. I mean, I saw foreigners there I saw one guy from Colombia, I saw one guy from Mexico, and we were, you know, I mean, I was speaking with them in Spanish. It was a very interesting conversation, but the people are so hungry to open up to the world. Like, you have no idea. The people cannot wait until the government situation gets better so that they can come to other countries and other people can see their culture.
Okay. And
Yeah.
in that country, is the people trying to learn English, like in South America?
Oh, absolutely they are. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of colonialism, Iran actually was not colonized by any country. India was colonized by England. Iraq was colonized by England. But in the middle, Iran was not colonized by anybody. So, like many other countries, they don't have a strong English background.
Okay. So
Um, yeah.
in Iraq and India, they speak English fluently.
In India, yeah, really everyone speaks English fluently. Iraq, probably not so much because Iraq was only part of England, controlled by England for just a few years. India was controlled by England but for 200, more than 200 years.
Okay, that's interesting. So
Yeah.
if I go to India or Iraq, I might talk in English,
Oh, in
maybe
India, everybody will understand you. India is the world's largest English-speaking country. Absolutely.
more than in US.
Oh yeah, because we have a billion people, and India has a billion people.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and everybody in India understands English. Absolutely everybody. Even the guy on the street who is extremely poor, he can say, "Hi, how are you? I am good." He can show you something if you ask him for directions. Yeah.
Oh,
India, because of colonialism, Jose, that's the only reason. That's the only reason.
yeah. It sounds interesting because everybody's talking of China, but many times they forget India.
Yeah,
And well, China is the factory of the world,
yeah.
but India has an
Mhm.
important role to play here.
You
And
know, the only thing that India really has an edge over in China is the language of English, and China is catching up. China is catching up like crazy. They are training their people to be fluent English speakers at an extremely quick rate. I mean, I think within the next 20 years, China will become the number one English speaking country in the world. It will defeat India because India's population is also going to increase, but China is really catching up. I mean, India will no longer be the number one largest English-speaking country, I don't
what
think.
is catching up?
Catching up means to be accelerating at a very high rate.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so China is really accelerating their rate of English speakers. They are introducing English to even their very youngest students are learning English now. India, everybody knows English because like just like in Peru and Mexico, Spain was the colonial power. Everybody learned Spanish. India, England was the colonial power, so everybody learned English.
Okay, so if sometime I trade with India, I it's only necessary to speak in English,
Absolutely,
necessary
absolutely.
to learn. What's the idiom, the language?
So we have 25 languages in India.
Oh my
Uh,
God.
that's why English is even used even more because it's a common language. Anybody from India can talk to anybody else in India using English, right? So the main language is Hindi, but the second largest language is Bengali, and I speak Bengali. I can understand Hindi, but I speak Bengali. I'm fluent in Bengali. I am semi-fluent in Hindi, for example. But those are the two largest languages, and everybody speaks English. Everybody speaks English.
Okay, well you're giving very good data. Huh?
Yeah,
Yeah, I try to take a look to India.
yeah. No, India is
Yeah.
great. I mean, people love India when they visit India. My friend from Peru, this guy that I went to visit 2 weeks ago, he spent 6 months in India. He traveled, he saw all the amazing buildings, amazing history. He tried our amazing food. He loved it. I mean, we love foreigners. We love people from everywhere, and it was a very interesting journey for him. And he knows English, so he had no problems. You can get anywhere in India if you speak English.
Yeah, in India the people acts has the same behavior as in Iran.
Um, no, I would say they are more normal. Iranians are at a very high level of respect.
Okay.
Um, Indian people are normal. I mean, they will treat you very kindly if you are their guest. They will open up their homes. They will do everything for you, but they won't say things like I am your slave," and
Okay, no,
those kinds of
not
things.
necessary.
Yeah, yeah.
But
That's
well,
a different level. Iran is a different level, man. I mean, the people there are. I mean, if you are a foreigner and you are interested in their culture, they will love you. If you are a foreigner who's interested in their culture and you can speak their language, you will become a god for them.
okay.
It was unbelievable what happened to me, man. I mean, from the moment I was on the plane, the other flight attendants, like some of the flight attendants, they were telling me, I mean, I told one of them, do I put my bag under the seat or do I put it above the seat? And she said, under the seat, please. But then as soon as she said that, she said, "Are you Iranian?" I said, "No." And she said, how do you know how to speak this language? And I said, oh, I learned. It's not a big deal. I mean, they teach you your language, you know, it's not like a magical language. But she was, I mean, stunned, absolutely stunned. And I mean, I was so amazed by how much they respected me. I mean, I'm just a kid. I don't have any, like, I mean, I'm just a random guy, you know? And they were just very, very, I mean, unbelievable hospitality, unbelievable.
Okay, it sounds very, very interesting. What are you talking about? Because
Yeah.
I always, when I tried, every time I try to make some research, I always choose, for example, North America, Australia, some countries from Europe. But I never made a real research, for example, in Iran or Iraq or India,
Yeah, India,
for
yeah.
example. But now you tell me that, for example, that they can speak English is very good news for me.
hmm
It's
India is
like,
definitely the leader. India is in terms of learning English, out of all of those countries, India is the leader. Iran, people, the young generation are learning English, but still the society as a whole does not know English.
yeah, but I think that, I don't know, maybe my half English might work in
No, no,
India.
I think your English is going to be perfect in a country like Iran or India.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I feel flattered.
No, I'm being
Thank
100% serious, man. I'm not saying this as an Iranian saying I'm your slave. No, honestly.
you.
Uh,
No,
this is,
but
I mean, what you are, your level of fluency will carry you anywhere you want to go in India and definitely in Iran. In Iran, they might not even understand your English because your English is too advanced,
okay.
honestly. But in India, your English is going to be very, very well received because they speak English. Everyone in India speaks English.
Oh, yeah, but I don't know why sometimes I can speak well, like I'm speaking now, but sometimes I cannot say 3 words in a row. I don't know why. Maybe I get nervous or I
Maybe,
need more
but
practice.
we got to practice. That's the thing, man. You absolutely have to practice. I mean, Colingo, I think, offers you a great platform for that. But, you know, other folks, many other parts of the world, they go through the same situation. You know, they try very hard to practice the language, but they don't have right people to practice with. So this is why I say, you know, India, because we were the colonial possession, the colonial territory of England, people in India, they learn to speak English when they are 2 years old. Like
Oh,
my mom and my dad, they both learned English when they were very young, right? So for them, it wasn't. They don't get nervous. But if you ask them to speak Spanish, they can't say anything. You know, I mean, it's just their level of comfort, right, with the language. So same thing for you guys. I mean, Iranian people, they also get really nervous when they speak English because they don't use it in their society. They use it only when they see foreigners, and now more and more young people are learning because they want to leave Iran. You know, they need the language skills to be able to go to other countries. Um, in India, though, I mean, everybody knows English from a very young age. Iraq and the Middle East, really, that's also a difficult situation, right? Because they were not colonized. Iraq was just maybe 6 years. But if you look at the other Middle Eastern countries like Saudi Arabia, we have a lot of Saudi students here on Colingo, and that's because they didn't have that, they don't have that history of some colonial power in their country. So they didn't get any of those Western languages.
yeah. Tell me, have you seen Indian people in Kalingo
Nope.
or Irani people?
Well, Iranian people, we don't
No,
see on Colingo.
Iraq, from Iraq.
Iraqi, yeah, I saw one or two. I saw one or two
Oh,
students
yeah.
from Iraq. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Well, that's interesting. I try
yeah,
to I try to chat with them next time.
yeah. And absolutely, man. I think you'll really enjoy Indian culture. I mean, my friend from Peru, he loved Indian culture, man.
Really? Okay.
The same
I'll try
guy.
to
Yeah,
take it.
yeah.
I'll try to. Farhan, tell me. Let me tell you, it's almost midnight here.
Oh, yeah. Same here.
Please forgive me. Okay, well, forgive me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to roll on my bed tomorrow very
Sure,
early.
sure, no worries.
Yeah.
Jose, it was a pleasure to see you after so long, and it's a pleasure to also speak with you.
Oh yeah, same was a great pleasure to talk with you as
Uh-huh.
well. Okay,
Absolutely.
bye bye.
Awesome. Jose, take care. Goodbye.
Bye. Couple of weeks.
Uh-huh.
Now I'm resuming my Kalingo classes.
Fantastic. You saw how we changed the view, right? The Colingo website has changed, Google Hangouts has changed.
Oh yeah, I don't know if they made an agreement or it's just a coincidence.
I think this is a coincidence, but the Colingo website itself has changed also. The design of the website has changed.
Okay,
Yeah. So
only a
I think it was
coincidence.
just chance yesterday or something like that, I think.
Yeah, yesterday. Well, I came back to Kalingo
Uh-huh.
yesterday, I think. Yesterday or the day before.
Uh-huh.
But yesterday I could see this is the new web in Google Plus.
Uh-huh. Fantastic. No, that's great. I know we're trying very hard to make sure uh, that we have as good a service as possible to the students. So we're always improving our services.
Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, absolutely. And did you do anything cool today? Anything interesting recently?
Um, well, I would like to ask you. I could hear some teenagers when they say, "Of course," they say, "Of course, my horse." But now, is it very tough to say, or it's only nice?
Of course, my horse,
Yes,
like
it's
mi
a
caballo.
teenager language. Yes.
Oh, I've
Yeah.
never heard that before.
Yeah. For example, they say, "Do you know something?" You whatever. They say, "Of course, my horse."
You know, I
Yeah.
have never heard that
I,
before. I think maybe it's just for fun because horse rhymes with course.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I was wondering if it's a common way to say in
I have
US.
honestly I have never heard it before, and
Oh, maybe
it's
you're
very
really old.
surprising. Yeah, I'm very surprised that's the case because usually some of these teenage phrases, maybe I'm too old. Exactly. Now all the young people are saying this stuff. I have no idea. Right? I'm an old man, but no, that's the idea. I
No,
have never
it's good.
heard it actually. Oh, of course, I know, Jose, but just thinking about it though, I've never, not even in popular movies or YouTube channels, I can't remember hearing something like that before. But
Okay.
yeah,
So, okay, so it's not a big deal.
yeah, it doesn't seem like, I think if you say of course, then everybody will understand. Of course, my horse. People might look at you and say, "What? What's this guy saying?" You know. So yeah, for me it's unusual. Did you hear it on TV? Did you hear it among students hear Colingo or kind of ed ending? Then those become irregular verbs, and I'm sure you're familiar with almost all of them. And then the second part of our class is we are going to be looking at an article that focuses on the confiscation of Chinese medications. So at a Swiss airport not long ago, uh, some airport authorities found that there were people who were trying to smuggle medications from China that were fake, and it became a big issue because nobody knows how many of these monitors maybe, or how many of these medications maybe were shipped from different places to China or from China to other countries, right? I mean, it's very dangerous. You know, these medications. People could be taking these medications as maybe the real thing, believing that they're the real thing, but in reality, it's something fake and something probably very dangerous, right? So before we get started on that, Jose, I wanted to ask you very briefly. Tell me about what you did earlier today. You can use irregular verbs, regular verbs, just to get our mind thinking in the past tense.
Okay, I woke up more or less 7:30, and I stay rolling on the bed till
Uh-huh.
9:30 maybe, because I'm a little bit free.
Jose, we want to say 7:30, 9:30.
Okay, half past
Yeah.
9 in the
Uh-huh. Half
US.
past 7 or 9:30 exactly. Yep, yep. Fantastic. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, 9:30.
Uh-huh.
And then I took breakfast. No, I didn't took breakfast today. And then I was making some research in my computer till 3 p.m. when I eat some lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was just fooling around, visit some friends, and was trying to watch a movie to a theater, but then I regret.
You
Um,
regretted watching the movie?
yeah, I tried to go to watch a movie,
Mm-hmm.
but then I thought, well, there's nothing too much convenient in the movie
Mm-hmm.
these days. So I wait for next week, maybe, if there's a better movie.
Nice.
Now I hear. Also, I
Fantastic.
play some
Sounds like a
soccer.
great day. Oh, okay. You played some soccer also?
Yeah, and just right back.
Awesome, awesome, fantastic. Looks like you had a very active day. You did a lot of different things. And I like how you started your lunch takes 15 minutes, making dinner takes 15 minutes, eating dinner takes 15 minutes. So about 1 hour of my day is preparing food, eating food, cleaning up the kitchen, and those kinds of things. So um, yeah, but I like that idea. I think a lot of young people now, we are working remotely or we work with technology so we can work from anywhere. And it's good to be professional.
Yeah, yeah, and it's totally different than 10 years ago, maybe. Well, 5 years ago, it's totally different.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for example, for me, my office is wherever I am.
Absolutely. You can work from anywhere as long as you have internet and a computer, right?
Yeah, and but I heard that Yahoo, I think, don't remember very well, but these new companies, uh, there was a time when they accept that their employees work everywhere as long they fulfill their job,
Hmm. Hmm.
and they were able to work in their homes or in their office. But now they are forbidding that rule. They want the employees come to the office
Yeah.
and to follow a schedule.
Yeah, absolutely. Yahoo did the same. And Yahoo did that, and I think Hotmail or MSN, Microsoft, I think, wants to do something similar. Or
Really?
some other company. I remember if you Google it, Jose, you'll find the article. But there's another company that is following the same example as Yahoo, uh, or they were considering that same rule. You cannot work from home. You have to come to the office. Maybe not Microsoft because I have friends who work at Microsoft and they don't do anything. They wake up at 1 p.m. They go to sleep at 6 p.m. They drink all night. They sleep around. They smoke marijuana. I mean, they
Is that
have yeah, they have the
is that a
most
job?
cra I'm sorry?
Is that a job?
That is their job, that seems. I honestly think, I mean, Microsoft, these guys that work for Microsoft, they are relaxing a lot. They're not smoking marijuana. I was just joking, but
Yeah.
they can sleep like very, very until they want, right? Wake up at 12 p.m., design, do a little bit of coding, do some meetings, maybe one or two meetings, online with their team. Maybe put in a couple of hours, of work, maybe just 4 hours of work, and they go back to doing whatever, right? Working remotely, they don't care they don't have a schedule. They have a salary, so as long as they finish their project, and I mean, these guys are geniuses. They in those on Kalinga, or was it just something you found
No,
in the?
no, no. I heard in a TV show, in a local TV show,
Uh-huh.
that they were talking with students that they are used to talk English
Uh-huh.
since they are very young,
Uh-huh.
very little child, they are almost native speakers.
Oh wow, okay.
Yes, because they learn English very hard since they were very little or
Uh-huh.
very little children when they were
Uh-huh.
at school.
Uh-huh.
And don't know if they took this by themselves or they took this from some native speakers as well.
Uh-huh. That's very interesting, but honestly, I am so surprised that I've never heard that before. It could be something that I think maybe folks who are maybe younger children started speaking this way before I grew up, I guess. Or I mean after I grew up maybe. Now I think maybe maybe it's a new trend, but yeah, I can't say I've heard of it. But if they're saying it and if they're near native speakers, then I would say that's very good indication.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So that's awesome. Uh, good, good,
I
good.
can
Good question.
see. Yeah, I can see this is an urban dictionary.
Yeah, it's a good, great website, right?
Yeah, I've just Googled it. This is, of
Uh-huh.
course, my horse. It's the same as I couldn't agree more. No.
Yeah. So if it's on Urban Dictionary, I would say definitely it's a very good source of information.
Ah, okay.
Urban Dictionary has a very, very, very solid system of information. They really know what they're doing.
Oh,
Sometimes phrases that I've never heard, just like this, going to Urban Dictionary, it works. The people who write that stuff, they know what they're doing.
like a Wikipedia.
Yeah, it's like a Wikipedia for all kinds of popular culture, for example. So, yeah, awesome. Well, Jose, I think we can get started then. Just going to talk about today. The theme is actually going to be irregular verbs. So when we talk about irregular verbs, the understanding is really that we are going to be looking at verbs that have a different past tense. Usually, the way that we call a verb irregular is if it has a different past tense than the normal past tense, which is something ends in ed, right? I walked to the park. I looked outside. I traveled to, Mexico, whatever, right? When we have a different situation, when it's not that sentence, the very first thing you said was, I woke up around 7:30, then I rolled around until 9:30, right? Happens a lot. I mean, I did the same thing. Today I woke up around 7:30 also, but I only rolled around in bed for maybe 20 minutes, and then I was up by 7:50. So I had some work, and now actually, Jose, I think the last time we spoke, I was still working for my company. I've actually changed jobs, so I'm no longer working for that company. I'm working from home. And I'm working for a startup that does similar things to my old company. So it's a different experience. I'm always at home in terms of work. When I go to the gym or when I go outside to, take either take a walk or, go shopping, those are the only times I leave the house. I don't actually leave the house to go to work anymore.
Oh
So,
yeah. You
yeah.
know, when you work where you're by yourself,
Hmm.
I heard that it's good to if you set up an schedule, if you will start to work maybe at 9, it's better to take a shower and put your suit or some kind of clothes that you would use in an office
Hmm.
and work that way. Not only with
Really?
with your pajama or maybe with a t-shirt. It's better to pretend that you're in an office.
Uh-huh. Because it helps you psychologically, I think, right?
Yes, maybe more or
Yeah.
less.
Honestly,
Well,
what happens to me is if I feel like I'm not working, I just take a break, maybe 5 minutes. I listen to some music, or I watch the news, or I just sit on the couch for 5 minutes, and then I come back to work. It works for me. But I have heard, for example, for interviews, people say that even if it's a phone interview, you should always dress up. Act like you are talking to another person.
oh, really? Yeah, even at
Yeah.
work as well.
And exactly in work as well. So I can see how that can be also applied to the workplace, right? Working from home, really, you should have that same level of professionalism, hold yourself to a schedule, right? For example, for me, now I teach 2 Colingo classes every morning and 2 in the evening every night, right? So I hold myself to a schedule. My first Colingo class starts at 8 a.m. And so I wake up at 7:30, I take a shower, I do Colingo for 2 hours, and then I start my other job. I work on that maybe 5, 6 hours. Then, in the middle, maybe I grab lunch. Maybe, well, I don't grab lunch. I have to make lunch because I hate going outside to eat. I make my own food. So that usually takes me maybe 1 hour total, Lunch, making lunch maybe takes me 15 minutes. Eating